What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I know I am. If you are having a fantastic day, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam, you will stub your toe the next time you walk past your coffee table. Yeah, that's right. Don't tempt bad luck and press the like button to save your feetsies. Anyways, guys, what's going on? I am feeling quite a bit better. Hopefully, you guys can tell from the fact that I no longer sound like a dying toad that I'm feeling quite a bit better. But regardless, today I decided to bring you guys a banger story about the time some kid that I went to school with low-key robbed a GameStop. Yeah, no big deal, just some casual armed robbery charges to kick up your Monday morning. Honestly, I only know what day it is because my Apple Watch tells me, because this quarantine thing is really making knowing the days hard. But regardless, let's get right into the fact that some kids apparently don't have the parenting skills around them to tell them not to rob GameStops. Let's get into it. So when I was a freshman in high school, I had like this graphic design class where most of the people were pretty cool, but there was one weird kid who I sat next to at the computer who was a little too obsessed with video games. Like, he would come to school with his binder filled with pictures of anime girls from his favorite, anime video games. I don't know what they're called. There's probably a name for it, and like all the weebs are attacking me in the comments. But he would come to school with like pages and pages of these anime girls printed out with like hearts all over them and like love messages written as if it was from them. It was whack. It was kind of whack. He was super obsessed with girls from video games. And he didn't have a lot of social skills either, which is probably why he had to be obsessed with girls from video games. Like, I'll never forget the first day I come into class. I was shy, but I asked him, I was like, hey, what's your name? And he looked at me and growled and then went back to looking at his anime covered binder. So like, this kid not only is obsessed with anime, but on top of that, he's not very nice to other people either. He would growl if you ever tried to talk to him, and on top of that, he was one of those kids that like had watched way too much Rick and Morty and was convinced that they were some type of genius. Whenever he would talk, I swear this kid just wanted to make himself the most unlikable person ever. One time, we're all sitting there, and I sat next to this girl, and then it was me, and then it was this kid. And I was talking to the girl, and she asked him if he had a good weekend and if he had gone to the football game. Just a pretty normal question to try to get somebody invested in a conversation. And he looks this girl in the eyes and says, sorry, people like me for more than just my looks. I have intellect, unlike you, negative IQ'd individual. And then like went back to his graphic design work. He was just not a very friendly guy, you know? He was just one of those people that thought he was super smart and would like insult you if you ever asked him any questions. He really thought he was Sheldon on the Big Bang Theory, but in the reality, the only big thing he was a douche. And he wasn't the nicest dude, and he was like obsessed with video games. Obsessed. This guy was crazy obsessed with all these types of games. And I don't really know what he did outside of school. Like I said, he wouldn't talk much outside of saying that I was really stupid or that he was smarter than me, so I just kind of learned to just tune him out. It was like, a bad radio station that your grandpa puts on. Eventually, you just put it in your earphones and ignore it. And one day, he's talking to me, and he's like, hey, have you ever been to the GameStop by the school? Because right across the street was this GameStop in a shopping center, like, kind of across the street. It was a little bit of a walk, and I say, yeah. He's like, do you ever see how much money they kept in the cash register? Which is a really weird question to ask somebody that you're constantly calling stupid and acting like you're better than. Like, hello, person that I have never said a positive thing about. Would you like to help me commit a crime, please? I promise you that it will be worth your while. And also, how the hell would I know? I don't work at the GameStop. You think that whenever I go to buy anything from a store, I just walk behind the back and go, well, you know me, I'd love to buy this video game, but really need to make sure that you guys are running a cash flow effective business here. No, like, I don't know. So I kind of look at him weird. I'm like, no, I don't remember how much money was in the cash register at the GameStop 2 months ago when I went. And he looks at me and he's like, oh, thanks for nothing. And I don't think much about that again. I really don't. That was on a Friday, and I go home and I'm minding my business, and my dad comes home from work and he goes, hey, did you see the GameStop by your school got robbed? And I'm like, no, what do you mean? And he pulls up this news article about how after school a kid had tried to rob a GameStop and had almost gotten away with it, except for the fact that the police found his address. And I'm like, wow, that really sucks that the police found your address that quick after you escaped. And I go about my weekend, I don't really think much of it. I get to school on Monday, and I swear DEFCON 1 has happened. Everyone and their mom is talking about the weird anime kid that decided to commit armed robbery on GameStop. So I'm trying to get the story from everybody, and basically what I managed to piece together is after school, after this homie had asked me if, I knew how much money GameStop had in the cash register, he decided to bool on over to GameStop after school, which in and of itself isn't too weird, but he walked in, I guess, with like a bandana on, which is weird. But there's then like talking to the people at the store and just said it was like a fashion thing, and I guess it's Gamestop near a high school after school, so like weird kids are pretty common. I'm sure you don't overthink it. So he's talking to them, decides to buy a game, pulls money out of his wallet, ladies and gentlemen, and then pulls out a pocket knife and proceeds to rob the GameStop. Which, I mean, already is a bad enough plan. I don't really feel like many people are intimidated by a Swiss Army knife being held by an obese, anime-obsessed 16-year-old, but hey, maybe you do whatever floats your boat, man. So obviously, the people working at the GameStop just give him the money in the cash register because, like, I'm not fighting anybody armed over a GameStop, okay? I remember when I worked at the grocery store one time, my manager was like, if anyone tries to rob this store, I'm gonna stop them. Yeah, you do that, bro. I do not care if Walmart does not get their money at the end of the day. What I do care about is if I get home, all right? So, like, they obviously give him the money even though he's not very intimidating because it's just not worth dying over a minimum wage job when an angry anime kid with cat ears is growling at you saying, "Rawr, give me the money, rawr." I don't know, that's probably what he said. That's the only way he probably... So, he gets the money. But an important tidbit of the story that I mentioned earlier is that he gave them his information to buy the game, right? As in, the game he had bought in 2 minutes before he decided to rob the GameStop when he pulled out his wallet. He had given them his phone number for his rewards card. Are you kidding me, ladies and gentlemen? The person that had been calling me dumb since day one, that decided to ruin his life and probably get some jail time to rob a GameStop, gave the people that he robbed his rewards card phone number that has his address, his name, and his, like, what an idiot. What an idiot. I guess in the heat of the moment, you get nervous for your first armed robbery, you start making mistakes, but I feel like giving the people that you just robbed all of your personal information is probably not the best idea. I'm also just saying, man, if you're gonna rob anything, like, look, I do not advocate for robbery, okay? I do not want anyone who watches this video to go rob anywhere. But a GameStop? Like, out of everywhere, I mean, you're risking it for the biscuit already. You're already doing armed robbery. You might as well go somewhere that's actually gonna have money. Like, 1 p.m. on a Friday. I bet you GameStop has all the bands. It's 3 quarters and like $27. It's probably not very poppin'. I also want to know what the cops' reaction was, dude. Could you imagine you pull up to the crime scene, they're like, yeah, some fat kid pulled out a knife and took all the money, but what we really don't understand is he left his address and phone number and his name here. And they're like, wait, what? So regardless, Tub and Bits obviously is not on his massive crime spree for very long. Within like 30 minutes of pulling up, they get to his house, and this is where the story really gets crazy. Now this, I can't confirm or deny, but it was the story around my high school, and I haven't said the kid's name, so screw it, we're gonna say it anyways. Apparently, when the police got to his house, they found out that he had basically been living in his own filth and just like not taking the trash out of his room, and just had posters of anime girls everywhere that were covered in an unknown substance. I'll just let the smart people figure that one out. And I guess he like tried to run from the cops, which is what I really love. Sometimes I'll just be chilling watching live PD and the cops will like go to arrest somebody that's clearly diabetic and should be on my 600-pound life, and they try to run, and it's just, what are you doing, man? You were never gonna make a break for it. So whatever. Apparently anime guy ends up running through the street of his neighborhood for like 50 feet and getting embarrassed in front of everybody when the police arrest him for robbing a GameStop and then leaving his address at the scene of the crime. So we thought that was the end of the story. The entire school is abuzz about how apparently we have the world's worst criminal mastermind really just vibing in our graphic design class pretty frequently, but like I said, I just kind of minded my own business and was just shocked at the stupidity that came from it. But the reason this story really gets interesting, ladies and gentlemen, is sure enough, he gets in trouble. He gets sent to like a juvenile facility for the summer, to the ranch, whatever. I don't see him for any rest of the school year. But the only reason I think this story somehow gets better is most people, you rob a GameStop when you're 16, get caught because you left your address at the scene of the crime. You probably realize that you were not made to be a mafia owner and go to college for your accounting degree, because this life of crime is just clearly not for you. But when this kid turns 18, he decides, no, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't had enough of the life of crime. I want more. Yeah, I was looking up his name for like the news story so I could remember more about this entire thing, and I didn't know this, but apparently on his 19th birthday, he decided that he hadn't had enough of robbing things and decided to try again, not at a GameStop. He had learned his lesson from that, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to know where this criminal mastermind decided to try to rob? You're not gonna believe me. It's the dumbest thing I think I've ever said out loud. A 19-year-old man on his birthday walked into a Chuck E. Cheese to try to rob the place. I don't know if this kid had just like thought that cops wouldn't respond to calls from stupid robberies. They definitely do. But why Chuck E. Cheese? And why on your birthday? That's what I don't understand. I feel like if you're gonna commit crime, all right, that's dumb. Probably not the best on you. You're probably not gonna do well in prison. Most people won't. But like, on your birthday, you decided, you know what I want to do today? I don't want to do anything fun or go see any of my friends. I want to rob a child's play place. That's what sounds great, and it's not. So now he is currently awaiting trial for another armed robbery charge, this time as an adult, and you know, I'll probably never see him again because he'll be getting bent over the showers in the back of a prison room. And I'm just saying, fat anime fans definitely do not do well in prison. Like, if you're a weeaboo, no judgment, like your anime. But I'm just giving some advice. I would avoid all crime because you're probably not going to do well in prison. That just goes for most people. Like me, if you've seen what I look like, I would not do well in prison. So I avoid breaking the law. I'm just saying, prison is meant for people that are ripped and like have the ability to beat up other ginormous ripped people. If that's not you, stay away. It's not good for you. What are you in here for, Tubby, huh? Did you kill somebody or something? Nah, man, I just felt like rubbing a Chuck E. Cheese. I robbed it with my anime girl, my waifu, and I sat in the parking lot of that Chuck E. Cheese waiting for the police to show up. That's not what he sounded like, but it seemed fitting at the time. So, yeah, moral of the story is I sat next to a very chubby anime man with boobs who repeatedly told me that I was a moron and not smart enough to understand him because clearly I was an idiot, never talked to girls, would constantly just stare at his anime binder, who decided to rob a GameStop with a Swiss Army knife, get caught because he gave them his address and decided a couple years later that that just wasn't enough and robbed a Chuck E. Cheese. So, yeah, I'm not sure what moral to take from this, but if you enjoyed, press the like button, comment down below, follow me on Instagram at Scrubby, Twitter at Scrubby_69. I would really appreciate it. And on that note, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. Today's notification shout out goes to Hawaiian Sun Sailor 56. Big thank you for having on the notifications. Join the Discord server, use code Scrubby in the G Fuel store, and most importantly, cop yourself some of the merch before it goes away forever. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go to prison now so I can see my old chubby anime friend. If anyone needs me, you can hit me up over there, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.